everybody, and welcome to the 4th episode of Coffee with Keira, the exciting podcast where I chat with different people about their careers to teach teens about potential jobs. I'm Keira, and joining me today in the coffee shop is Dr. Johannes Distler. We'll be discussing his very interesting job as a consultant. See you in Hey Johannes, and welcome to the coffee shop. How's your day?
Hi, nice. Very good, very good. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me. Yeah, I know the time difference is a lot. I just woke up, so I have my tea.
I'm about to go to sleep.
What are you having to drink this afternoon?
Peppermint tea.
Yum. I have passion tea with mint from our garden.
Sounds good.
Where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Dubai. Dubai in the United Arab Emirates.
Nice. So I haven't heard a lot about your job already, but what is your job and where do you work?
I work in Dubai for a company called Roland Berger. It's a German firm, and it's a strategy consulting firm. So essentially what we do is we help clients on strategic questions and issues that they have.
So my parents are both consultants, so I've heard the phrase a lot around the house, but what is a consultant for the people who are watching?
It's a difficult question to answer because the topics that we work on are so broad, but I think if I had to put it very simply, I would say we try to help our clients solve complicated problems.
And what fields? What problems?
That's the thing. That's where it starts to become tricky. So essentially, the way our company is structured is we have two different layers. So we have industry expertise. So we have experts for automotive, for marketing and sales, automotive, for aviation, transportation, financial services, so the guys that work with banks. And then at the same time, we also have something called functional expertise, where people are just really good at certain specific issues that all companies can have, no matter what industry they're in. So we have experts that, for example, help you become better at selling things. We have experts that help you to become more efficient, for example, which could work for an automotive company, but it can also work for a bank. So basically, this kind of what we call matrix structure is how our company is built up.
It's very interesting. Can you explain some of the photos and videos you sent me?
Absolutely. I try to give you kind of a good overview of how life as a consultant is like. So essentially, and one of your questions, I think, will probably be around how was the life before COVID and how does the life now look like after COVID. So the pictures that I sent you show a lot of my traveling life, because usually what I have to do is I have to go where the client is actually physically located. So I travel a lot all over the Middle East. I have to go to Saudi Arabia. I go to places like Bahrain, Oman, Qatar, for example. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I also travel quite a lot, even further than that. So I have had projects in South America, I've had projects in Europe, I had projects in Asia, in the Philippines, in Indonesia, really all over the world. So a few of the pictures I think that I shared with you, you can see me, for example, working on a project in Saudi Arabia. We helped a company that is active in the chemical space to become more efficient. And I sent you also a video where I basically had dinner with my coworkers in Saudi Arabia, and you can see that they sit on the floor. They basically share food with their hands, so you get, I think, a quite nice impression of how you have to also get a little bit used to the local customs when you work with people in foreign countries. Mm-hmm. But then at the same time, what's I think nice about my job is that I also work a lot with young people. So there's a lot of people that join us right out of university in their late 20s, early 30s. And we work a lot. It's quite a demanding job, but at the same time, we also try to have fun. So I, for example, sent you a video of our Christmas party where we took the entire office to Thailand. We flew to Phuket. And basically everyone from the Dubai office came to Thailand, and then we basically threw one big party on a boat, and everyone is wearing Santa Claus hats, but at the same time it was in Thailand in like a really nice weather environment. So we do both, work a lot, but we also try to have fun.
We'd be freezing if we ever tried doing that in Texas.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've gotten to travel to a lot of countries already, and so seeing all the different cultures is amazing.
It's really nice. It keeps life interesting.
Mm-hmm. What in that desert picture? What desert is that?
It's actually only like 2 hours away from where I live in Dubai. Yeah. My wife and I, we went to this really nice resort hotel. It's really in the middle of the desert. So you drive. I actually sent you a video where we drove to that place. So basically on the video that I shared with you, you see our view from the car. Yeah. And then I'm sitting on top of one of the largest dunes in the UAE. And basically the angle that the picture is taken, like if you walk straight from there, there's basically, I think, roughly like 2,000 kilometers of only desert. So basically, if you go straight in that direction, all you will hit for the next, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000 kilometers is desert. There's nothing else after that.
Yeah, hopefully you don't get lost out there.
No. If you walk out there, you better know what you're doing. Yeah. Absolutely.
So where are you originally from, and how have you ended up in Dubai?
That's a good question. So I'm originally German. I was born and raised like a little bit outside of Munich in Bavaria in Germany. And then I went to California with my family for some time, where I also met your dad and your mom. Studied at Pepperdine in Malibu for some time, and then went back to Europe, continued my university education there, and then joined my current employer right after I graduated. And then after roughly 2 years of working there, they asked me if I would like to do a project in Qatar, in the Middle East. And I was excited. I just wanted to go overseas and do something different. I would have honestly gone anywhere in the world. If they had sent me to Brazil or South Korea, no matter what, I would have gone. And then I really liked it here. I mean, there's a lot of prejudice sometimes against the Middle East. People think it's only desert, it's super hot, and so a lot of people have kind of like a fixed mindset about the Middle East. But, after having worked here, after having lived here, I really liked it. I liked also the work that we're doing here, and then I ended up staying, and now I've been here for 10 years. And I'm still in Dubai. So now, after 10 years, Dubai has become our home.
Nice. I've always wanted to visit Dubai. It looks so amazing and pretty.
Well, we'd be happy to have you. So whenever you want to come, let me know, and I'll make sure you have a nice time here in Dubai, and we'll show you guys around.
Thank you. What does a typical work day look like for you, pre-COVID and then now?
I mean, really, one of the coolest things about my job is that I don't have a typical workday. So before COVID, I was traveling all the time. So I would wake up on a Sunday morning, rush to the airport, fly to Saudi Arabia, maybe to Riyadh, then spend 1 or 2 days with a project team there in Riyadh. And sometimes I would have to go to a different country, maybe on Wednesday, to check up on one of my other project teams, maybe in Bahrain. Mm-hmm. And then usually I try to come back on Wednesday evening, because our work week is actually from Sunday to Thursday. So we start work on a Sunday and we end our work week on a Thursday evening, like today. Then I would work from our office on Thursday, and then spend the weekend here with my wife and our friends in Dubai. So now, since COVID, restricted travel quite heavily, my world has gotten a lot smaller. So I spend a lot of time in my office here at home, talking to people all day long on Zoom calls, MS Teams calls all over the world, quite frankly. But if I'm entirely honest with you, I love it because I've been traveling basically nonstop for 10 years and it can be quite tiring.
Yep.
So it's also honestly quite nice to be able to be at home for such a long time period without having to go anywhere.
Yeah, I love traveling too, but always traveling would probably get tedious.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially if it's for work. Traveling for work is not as fun as traveling on a holiday.
Yeah. I never have to work when I travel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Why is the work day, or why is the work week like Sunday to Thursday? Is that
That's
just
a good question. Well, it's a religious reason. So basically, the Muslim Sunday is a Friday, right? So back in the day, 20 years ago, the weekend in the Middle East was Thursday and Friday, with basically Friday being their Sunday, so to say, right? But the problem that you have if you keep it that way is that you basically can never work with people that are outside of the Middle East, because you're off Thursday, Friday, and then when you start working again, everyone else is off on Saturday and Sunday. So the compromise, essentially what they did is they said, okay, fine, Friday is our most important day. Let's make it Friday and Saturday. So at least we only lose one day with everyone else in the world. So that's how it happened.
Yeah, because I was like, that's different than usual.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It takes some getting used to, and sometimes I'm still saying, I wish it was already Friday, but my big day is Thursday. So it's TGI Thursday for us here.
Yep. So you said you like to travel like outside of work also, but what are some of your other hobbies?
That's a very good question. Unfortunately, it's a bit sad, to be honest, because I work so much that I don't have that much time anymore for hobbies. I play golf. I like to play golf. In the winter, I snowboard quite a lot, which is unfortunately a bit difficult here, but you can actually snowboard in Dubai. Here, there's a indoor snowboarding place at Mall of the Emirates, which is quite cool. So you can snowboard in the summer, even if it's 50 degrees outside. They even have penguins in there. And if I'm entirely honest, I like to just sleep on my couch and read a book on the weekend to just relax and get some energy back.
Yeah, a lot of times I'm just in my room reading.
Doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, I've never snowboarded, but I went skiing when I was little, but that's about it.
It's really nice. I like it a lot. And some of the best skiing I've done is actually in the US. So I really, really hope I can go back to Jackson Hole in Wyoming at some point to ski there. It's really nice.
Nice. I've never been there, but that's cool.
Highly recommend it.
Do you enjoy the people you work with, and do you have like a large team or a smaller team?
I very much like the people I work with. I mean, there's several things I like about my job, and that's definitely one of the most important ones. We have very strict hiring criteria, because ultimately for us, the only thing that we really have is smart people that help our clients solve their problems. And so it's really a nice environment. Everyone around me is usually young, so a lot of them come out of university. They're all smart, because we're trying to hire the smartest people, and it keeps life very interesting and challenging at the same time. So I very much like my team. We have around 100 consultants here in our Dubai office, and the company has roughly 2,500 consultants around the world. And it's also a very international environment, because sometimes we bring in people from Southeast Asia or from Europe to work on projects here. So it always keeps life interesting.
How long does a typical project last?
I think our average project lasts probably somewhere between 8 to 10 weeks. But then, of course, we have also sometimes assignments where we stay with our clients for up to a year, I would say. So it can some things we work on take so long to really get done that we stay for our clients for a long time.
Mm-hmm. So, like, you get hired by other companies to help them out on problems. Is that, if I'm understanding correctly?
That's exactly it. It's actually clients and governments, to be honest. So one of the things that I've also sent you, I sent you a picture with a big group in front of a white pavilion, and there my client there is a government entity called the Future Investment Initiative, and basically it's a non-profit organization that's trying to change the world. So essentially they have defined 4 key areas of impact, which is healthcare, artificial intelligence, robotics, and sustainability. And they're trying to make investments into these 4 areas in order to promote essentially technological advancement in these areas in order to benefit humanity. So we're building up this entire institute for them together with the team. We're helping them to find investment opportunities all over the world. Some of them are in Silicon Valley, for example. Some of them are also in emerging markets. So it's not only for companies, we also work for government entities.
Sounds like a very important job. The entire humanity rests on.
Yeah, it's really, it's nice. It's nice. It's really, really a nice project, and I think we've made good progress on it. So I'm quite proud of it.
That's very good. Do you have to be more of an extrovert for this job?
I think it doesn't hurt. I mean, ultimately, I think there's a lot of roads to success, I would say, right? So every person has their strengths and weaknesses. And I think in my job, there is a way to be successful as an introvert as well as an extrovert, because a lot of the work we're doing is very analytical, for example, right? So people that are drawn to data, that like to kind of, do some number crunching by themselves with computers, for example, they can also be very successful. But I think it's good to be able to deal with people, right? Because our job very much depends on working in a collaborative way, both with the teams internally, so basically with our coworkers, as well as with our clients. So I think you would be having a hard time if you really dislike interacting with people. But if you're just a little bit of an introvert, I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah. Because my parents are consultants as well, I've gone to see how people interact in their office, and yeah, you have to be a little outgoing, but there's always the people that are quieter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is also the clients are, you find all sorts of characters on the client side as well, right? So chances are maybe that your client is also an introvert and he's actually very comfortable working with another introvert. So I think that if I would have to say that if you need to have a strength, it's maybe a little bit to be able to adapt to your surroundings. And even if you yourself are very extroverted, I think you need to be able to maybe tone down a little bit if you realize that the person you're dealing with is maybe a little bit different than you.
Yeah. So I know you've traveled a lot and you're from Germany. So how many different languages do you know?
Oh, unfortunately, I'm not so talented with languages. I think my wife, she speaks 6 languages.
Wow.
But yeah, I speak German and English. German quite well. English is okay, I would say. And I learned French in school when I was in Germany, but it's very rusty, and because I haven't used it at all in a long time.
Yeah.
I tried to learn Chinese and Bahasa, which is the language of Indonesia, but failed miserably at both efforts. So I would say I only speak German and English, unfortunately.
I'm just trying to learn Spanish.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm very happy that I managed to be conversational in English, and unfortunately, it stopped for me there, the language journey.
Well, your English has seemed very good in this so far, so.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Very much appreciated.
What is the best part of your job?
That's a good question. I think it's two things that I like a lot. I think traveling is the best and the worst part of my job. I really love it, and at the same time, as I said, it can get very tiring. Mm-hmm. But I love it more than I hate it. And I think for me, the second thing that I really love about my job is the fact that no day is the same. I think I would be horrible at a job where I would have a lot of repetitive work, where I basically already knew when I wake up in the morning what the entire day looks like. And for me, there's no single day that was like the day before or the day after. So that really is what motivates me, what keeps me excited, and that's my favorite thing about this job.
That's how I am too. If I do the same thing over and over, I need change.
It's horrible, right? So yeah. Exactly, that's what I like about my job.
What is the worst part, or not worst part, but like challenges of your job?
It's again, same answer. It's the traveling. So it can be very tough to be away from like your loved ones for longer stretches. And you know, sometimes you also even miss like important family events, which then of course is especially tough. Like if, for example, your parents have a birthday, and for me it's even more difficult being so far away from my family that that can get quite difficult. And I think the second thing is just sometimes the pure amount of work. So the job being very demanding, that it can also get sometimes a little bit too much, but quite frankly is then I'll recover on the weekend. So that's why I need my couch and a good book on the weekend.
Yep, best recovery.
Absolutely.
What is your best work memory?
Oh, that's a very good question. There's so many, honestly. I mean, after 12 years, there have been so many good memories, so many nice colleagues, and so many nice things that I've seen around the world. Really, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to really see almost the entire planet. I've been everywhere for work, which has resulted in a lot of nice moments. But I mean, one of the things that I would say I'm probably most proud of is one of my first projects that we have done. This was actually during the last global economic crisis in 2009. We were asked to help a very big company with, I think, if I'm not mistaken, roughly 30,000 employees around the world, to help them basically get through this very difficult period. And we were very successful. We helped them in raising capital, in also getting some government support to get through this difficult time. And then at the end, we also really got very close to the client side and the team basically on the client. And at the end, we helped them really to save a lot of jobs in that company. So this is something I was very proud of. And I'm still in touch with many people at that firm, even though it's already been over 10 years ago. So that was a really nice moment, you know, to see basically a company that was really struggling with a lot of families tied to that business, to see that we managed to save the company and to keep everyone in their job. That was an amazing experience.
Yeah. You guys really are big problem solvers.
Sometimes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. If you hadn't chosen this career, what would have been your next choice?
Now that's a difficult one. I honestly think this career choice was the one for me. So I'm very, very happy in my job. I don't think I could have been doing it as long as I have been doing it if I hadn't liked it so much. So I don't really think about this question that much. But I think one thing that I also very much like is to go to university. I'm nerd at heart, and I'm okay to say it. So I'm thinking still to become maybe a college professor at some point. So that's maybe my second best option. So if I hadn't done the job that I'm doing now, I would have maybe tried to become an educator of some sort, and I might still do it even later down the road. So I'm not saying it's a done deal yet.
Yeah. Anyone who says nerds are bad, they're wrong.
Exactly. Absolutely, I agree.
Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Honestly, I don't know. That question has a lot of layers to it. The first big question mark is, where will we live? I'm not so sure if I will still be in Dubai 5 years down the road. So I wouldn't mind, for example, also moving back to California, where I was very happy. So maybe not in 5 years, but probably in 10 years, I think there's a chance that I might move back to Los Angeles. And then maybe I'll be a college professor by then. Who knows? I wouldn't mind being a professor at Pepperdine, where I met your parents a long time ago, shortly before you were born. So maybe I'll be able to visit you guys in Texas also soon. Then.
Maybe if you become a professor, I'll be in your class.
Yeah, that would be great. I would be very proud of that, to be honest.
For anyone who is interested in pursuing your field of work, do you have any words of advice?
Career, especially for people that are just coming out of university. So I highly recommend it. I think it's an amazing job that gives you a lot of different insights across so many different companies, so many different topics, and you get a lot of responsibility very early on, which is amazing and helps you grow. So my boring advice is, you have to do good in school and try to do well, because our selection criteria and our competitors are very similar in that way, are very strict. We like people that do well in school, that are academically strong. We like also people that are maybe a bit unusual, that don't just follow the same straight path always, but that maybe have done something interesting, a bit out of the ordinary. So I would encourage people to A, do well in school, and B, ultimately follow a little bit their passions. So don't only think about your career, but try to do what's fun, because chances are, if you do that, then you'll also be good at it. And then I think you'll be in a relatively good position to find a job as a management consultant, and then I think you would also like it.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today in the coffee shop. I really enjoyed listening to your job and learning about it. It's really interesting. Cheers.
Same here. Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. See you next time on Coffee with Keira.